Welcome to this week's episode of Live Wire TV. Live Wire TV is a place where we like to talk all about business strategies that inspire your business growth. I am your host, Rohini. Live Wire TV is a part of Live Wire Media, where we do corporate videography and video marketing. Now, each week on Live Wire TV, we bring on an awesome guest for you guys to help you to learn and to grow. And this week, I've got an incredible superstar for you, the amazing Siobhan Hamilton from VA for Hire. I've known Siobhan personally for a number of years now, and I can tell you she's such an awesome person to be around. She's the kind of person who is super motivated, ambitious, and really likes to seize opportunities and help other people to seize them as well. Now, recently, she's got involved in the VA industry, but before that, she has a background in property, and she's got a really strong attention to detail, and she's really excited to be here today to talk to you guys about the value that virtual assistants can bring to entrepreneurs. So Siobhan, welcome to Live Wire TV.
Thank you for having me, Rohini. It's a pleasure to be here.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, not too bad. A little bit hot, but I'm not complaining because, we get our 2 days of summer a year.
Yes. So Siobhan, let's start with your background. Like, how did you get to where you are today?
Yeah. So I am a qualified social worker, actually. I qualified back in 2009. And as I started to have a family of my own, working in the child protection arena in social work, I was putting other people's children before my own. And as a lot of people could probably relate to that, it's not a nice feeling. So I knew something had to change ultimately. And my journey really started by reading. Just reading Rich Dad, Poor Dad is probably everyone's first sort of introduction into the business world. And he started talking in his book, Cash Flow Quadrant.
Yeah.
He spoke about the cash flow game and spoke about property investing as well. And so myself and my husband, it is something that we always wanted to do. And that book kind of led to mentoring and coaching. And yeah, so fast forward to now into the virtual assistance industry. Well, as a property investor, I had a virtual assistant. Fantastic. Basically any business that does not have an assistant, you are the assistant. So working with a virtual assistant definitely elevated my game, but ultimately he wasn't happy with the company that he was contracting for, and I wasn't happy as a client. And we just ended up having a very organic conversation about our visions and what we want to do for other people. And we decided to collaborate, and that's where we are now.
Amazing. So you kind of saw a gap in the market for yourselves and thought, I'm going to fill that.
Exactly. I mean, we both had experiences to bring. So me as a client, I could see what I could have benefited from more as a client. And he definitely, as a contractor, wanted to benefit from other things. There was a lot of bits that were missing that we feel that we could now sort of unite and create a fantastic experience for everyone. And also obviously helping them personally and helping their businesses to grow.
Tell us a bit about the bits that were missing for you as an entrepreneur.
So in terms of me, I wasn't doing what I needed to do. So as a property investor, I'm supposed to be focusing on putting the deals together. Right. And obviously I do my due diligence, but I utilize my VA to do things like contacting a graphic designer, contacting people who could put my website together, having a look at my emails and pointing out to me which one's a priority, managing my schedule. So I was utilizing those things. However, when we were working together before, it was almost as if me as a client, I was matched with my assistant, and he was amazing, but I was then kind of left. So we kind of had an amazing relationship, and we had we built something really good together. But apart from that initial introduction, there was nothing else. I didn't really feel like I was a part of anything. It was
Hmm.
just like a matchmaker, and then that's it.
Yeah, amazing. Guys, if you have any questions for Siobhan about virtual assisting, drop them in the comments section below and we'll be sure to answer them for you as well. And also do share this out with people on your newsfeed, because you never know who this is going to impact and who this is going to help, because you never know what people are going through. And by you sharing this out on your feed, you may actually be indirectly helping somebody else out as well. So
Absolutely.
you saw this gap in the market and you thought, I'm going to fill this. What were the challenges that came up for you as an entrepreneur starting up a new business?
COVID. To be honest with you, COVID has its it had its pluses and its minuses.
Right.
I think virtual assistants were very overlooked as an industry. But I think as everything moved online, it now is a necessity. I still feel that people need to really understand what value virtual assistants can bring. So the initial challenges is always, just getting started, getting your first client and getting the results. But once we got over that hurdle, it's just kind of smooth sailing from there, really. But
Yeah.
ultimately, what we are able to bring is someone who is dedicated and hardworking and basically being able to work when you need us to work. You don't have to worry as a business owner about the how. We find out the how. You just tell us what you want. We sort it out. We do everything in between.
That is so refreshing to hear, because I think as business owners and entrepreneurs and CEOs, we get so caught up in the day-to-day runnings of our business that we almost like all of our time is consumed on unnecessary kind of tasks, really, that aren't really growing our business.
That's right.
And I'm like, I've learned something kind of new recently, and I've definitely really seen it in myself. When you outsource something, yes, it's a cost, but if you do it right, that cost can actually bring you a return on investment and then some.
100%. I think a lot of people need to look at not how much is this going to cost me, but how much is it going to make me, and how much is my time worth. Because those tasks that you get bogged down with in business, I've been there. Those are not the tasks that's necessarily going to scale your business. They're not the tasks that's going to bring the income. They're not the tasks that's going to build the relationships, but they have to be done. They're tasks like spreadsheets and boring stuff that most people don't really want to be having to do. But with a virtual assistant being able to take those transactional tasks away from you, it just allows you to scale. It allows you to move forward so much quicker, and it gives you back your time.
Yeah. How exactly does the return on the investment aspect of it work? Because I think a lot of people watching this right now are possibly thinking, well, if I outsource that, how am I going to get my return on investment? How is it going to help me to scale up?
So ultimately, if you're getting your time back, you're going to be able to do many of the important things that you should be doing. And also, with a virtual assistant, it's like a fraction of a cost of an employee.
Yeah.
And you're not contracted to provide 37 and a half hours a week, or however much it is that you would do for an employee. It's as much or as little as you need as a client. So if you just need ad hoc work every month or every other month, that's something that we can work with. But if it is like a stable sort of 20 or 10 or 30 hours, whatever it is that you need per month, that's what we're there for as well. We're just an extension of whatever it is that your business needs.
Is it expensive to hire a VA?
I mean, what is expensive?
Yeah.
Everyone has a budget, don't they? And it's important that we work with that. We're quite open with our clients. It's a discussion that we have very early on, and we are not the most expensive by far, but we're not the cheapest. But what we do offer our clients as sort of an assurance is the first 10 hours, we offer that at a 50% discount.
Oh, that's
And
nice.
then it is. But that's because we're so sure of the way that what we deliver,
Yeah.
our level of work. So we offer that. And then at the end of the 10 hours, if it's something that you don't want to go forward with, then you don't have to. I mean, I don't know whether that really answers your question. Some people
It
may
does,
see it as
because it's kind of like saying how long is a piece of string, really?
correct,
And
correct.
because the only reason I ask that is because I think a lot of people are kind of thinking that I want to do this, but is it going to be expensive? And they're thinking about it in terms of as a cost. So
Yeah.
I hope that kind of clarifies things a little bit for you guys.
We've just got to work with
Yeah,
your budget, and at the end of the day, you've got nothing to lose by having a conversation, by reaching
absolutely.
out. You're not under any obligation.
Absolutely. When business owners are looking to hire a VA, what kind of things should they be asking themselves and looking out for?
Okay, so what I would say is that your your vision as a business owner is your vision. It's your message.
Yeah,
And if you're expecting a VA to build that for you, then that's not going to be a healthy relationship. A VA's purpose is to literally make things easier for you so that you can do what you need to do. In
mm,
terms of if you're thinking about posting on social media, I can 100% proofread that, and I can make some suggestions about your content, about your scheduling of your posts. But ultimately, you are the sailor of your ship,
yeah,
and you have the ultimate say. I will offer advice, but ultimately, it's your business. So you ultimately have the final say on things.
yeah. And are there any cons to having a VA? Because we talked all about the pros and the advantages of having it. What about the
Yeah.
cons?
I think the cons come in a lack of communication.
Mm,
So if you're just kind of, I recommend to our clients that we have weekly meetings, especially in the beginning, just to make sure that everything's on track, that the client's happy, the contractor understands what the client's expectations are. If that breaks down, then everything's going to break down. Another thing with us, it's not just myself in the business. So we've got people who can fill in. So if, for example, unforeseen circumstances happen with one of us, we've got other people who are going to be aware of what your business is, what the needs are, and they'll be able to fill in. I'm UK based as well. So those of you who are from the UK who are watching, you'll be able to access me easily and not worry about any time differences and things like that. Yeah, ultimately, there are pros and cons to everything. It's just about how we mitigate those risks,
yeah.
and we cover all of that when we discuss it with you.
Yeah, and I think that communication and that transparency is really important, especially when you're entering into a new business partnership, essentially. And
Yeah,
it's important to keep that open for the long term as well.
absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah.
So what are you planning for the next few months then?
Gosh, my plans are always evolving, especially in this market. Especially in this market. We are just scale. Well, we're scaling this business. I'm scaling my. I'm going forward with my property business, which is particularly challenging at the moment. But pushing forward with it. We are potentially looking at appearing in some events as things open up later on in the year, if they open up, because those days are already pushing back.
Yeah.
But we've had some of our clients who previously did live events, and we're thinking about not only just being virtual but actually being in person, but that will be for UK businesses as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just taking it from there.
Can we talk a bit about how you scale up your business? Because I know you, I know that you've worked with incredible businesses in the past and you've scaled them up. You make it look so effortless, and I'm sure it's not. A lot of
It's
people that are watching this are thinking, I want to be able to scale up my business. So can
mm,
you talk a bit about how you managed to do that for yourself?
yeah. So before you can scale, you have to find out what the issues are. You have to have something working. And the analogy that I really like is a leaky bucket. So if you've got a bucket that's got holes in it, there's no matter how much water you put in that bucket, it's going to leak out. So
Yeah,
we have to fix those holes first of all. So it's definitely about looking at um, what's going right, what's not going right, and the things that are not going right, what can we do to make them right?
yeah,
Then from there you can make plans as to, what position are you aiming to be in. Okay, so once you look at the position you're aiming to be in, what are the risks there, and mitigating those risks, and then putting a strategy together that you can implement to move forward. And that's how I've done the scaling of my businesses.
yeah. So fixing the problems that are kind of at the ground level, if you like, then
Definitely.
strategies to grow from there, and then keep repeating the process, basically.
Yeah, you're always going to be, you need to review it sort of every 30, 60, and 90 days.
Yeah,
Um, and then always, come back to it. I just have like a one pager, and it's when you're looking at it, you're not just looking at it from a business point of view, you're also looking at it from a personal point of view as well. So
mm,
what can hurt you that will affect you personally, that will affect your business? So if you've got a family, it's like, if something terrible suddenly happens, how does that impact you? So
yeah,
what can you put in place to make sure that if that happens, hopefully it doesn't, but if it's an issue, you know, you've got some contingencies in place.
yeah. I think that's important to kind of have a almost like a plan B, essentially, isn't it?
Yeah. Although, I don't really like to look at things in terms of plan A, plan B, because I
Yeah,
think your plan A should be your ultimate plan.
yeah,
But definitely everything comes with a risk.
yeah.
So you definitely need to look at how you can overcome that obstacle, that risk.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know that hiring a VA can help you scale up much more easily because you're outsourcing the sort of smaller tasks to them, aren't you?
Correct.
Are there any other benefits that can help business owners to scale up or to achieve their business goals a lot sooner, other than what we just spoke about?
Yeah. I would definitely say doing things like this.
Yeah.
Speaking on Rohini's platform, that it's just absolutely amazing. You do have to speak to people, network. Definitely don't try to be a solo entrepreneur. Don't try and do everything by yourself, because
Jack of all
it's
trades.
not yeah, it's not impossible, but it's a very, very long journey.
Yeah.
And you do need to speak to people who are specialists in the areas that you're not so you haven't got as much understanding. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. But yeah.
I think a lot of business owners they have a bit of trouble asking for help, don't they?
Yes. And I think that's because when you start something, usually you're quite passionate about it,
Yeah.
and you just of the view that nobody can do it better than me. It's like having a newborn baby. It's like having I don't know, like a puppy or something that you've nurtured from the ground up, and you just think nobody can do it better than me, and that's probably right. But if you are able to delegate certain things, there are certain things that you're just going to have to do,
Yeah.
because actually it's your brand and you're the face of your company. But if you're able to delegate, you can get a lot more things done quicker. But
Mm.
I get it. I get it that people just find it hard to let go.
Do you know, I read a really great quote the other day, and it's so true for this conversation. And guys, let me know in the comments if you guys agree with this as well. The quote was, "You have the same 24 hours in your day as Beyonce does." And look at what she's doing.
Yep, yep, yeah. It's just how you use it, isn't it? It is
Yeah,
how you use it. I mean, it's you know, I know that some people are by themselves, not necessarily in relationships, don't necessarily have a family,
Yeah.
and it may seem to people who do have families that they have more time to do things, but it's just about prioritizing, and you have to allocate your time to certain things. So if it is a case that you do have a family and you've got children, obviously you need to spend time with your children. So just spend like a block out of time where you're going to spend time managing your time.
For those of
So,
you who don't know, Siobhan is also an incredible mother of 3 as well. So she's built all of this whilst being an awesome mother.
I am, but the world still turns, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Stuff happens, but the world still turns. COVID happens, but we're now at the end of June almost. Time has not stopped, so you've still got to push forward. You just got to allocate your time, and when you're with your friends, you are with your friends. When you're with your family, you're with your family, and when you're doing work, you are focused on work. And if you can put those barriers in place, then it's going to be more productive for you.
It's a discipline, isn't it, to be present fully in the moment, especially when a lot of things are going on in other
Yeah,
aspects of your life that
it
are kind of
is.
demanding your attention.
It is. It definitely is a discipline that I can't even. I can't even. I can't even explain. There's no quick, easy way to do it other than just doing it.
Yeah.
To quote Nike, just do it. You've just got to know what you're going to do sort of the night before the day. You've got to complete those tasks.
Yeah.
If you're able to make those lists sort of the night before, on the day you don't have to think about it. Your list is there, and then I try to complete 10 tasks before 10 o'clock. And some of you are probably thinking, ain't she got 3 kids? Yeah, I do. So I have to go up at 4 in the morning.
Yeah.
It's just that's how I manage my time. I know at 4 in the morning they're not going to be awake, they're not going to be asking me for everything. And yeah, you've just got to manage your time, and know when things have got to be done and what's got to be done, and that's it.
And be disciplined to follow through on it as well.
100%.
Yeah. Siobhan, where can people get a hold of you to inquire about you and just connect with you in general?
Yeah, so I'm here on LinkedIn as Siobhan Hamilton. I'm also on Facebook. My website is, you can contact me on siobhanhamilton.com, and Instagram, Siobhan Official.
Amazing. I would definitely recommend connecting with Siobhan because her mindset growth is incredible. She is definitely one to follow. She is going places and she's taking people with her as well. And her business, VA for Hire, is just incredible. And I love that she's taken her experience as an entrepreneur and used that to fill a gap in the market. We've just had a comment come in, so I want to read that out. Oh, we just had a question from Umesh. He just asked, are you focused on one thing whilst juggling hundreds and hundreds of other items?
Is that personally, or is that as a virtual assistant for a company? Personally, if there's always stuff going on. Rahini's told you that I'm a mom. There's always something going on. But I think it's best to focus in the moment where you are. With regards to being an assistant, it's about prioritizing. So if I've been given a list of tasks, it's about understanding from the client, when do you want these things to be completed? And then each task that I'm completing, I'm focused on that individual task at that time. I'm not sure whether that answered your question.
Yeah, I think it did. I mean, I think I think as business owners, we kind of want things done yesterday. How do you differentiate what is an imminent deadline compared to something that we just want done?
Yeah, so it's about what's the best thing that can happen, what's the worst thing that can happen, and what's the most likely thing that's going to happen. So if the worst outweighs, the most likely or the best, then it needs to be done.
Yeah.
But if it's really not going to make a major difference, and I know that I can put it off till the next day or complete this task first and then move on to that, then that's what needs to be done.
Yeah, amazing. Guys, we're going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for joining us, and do share this out on your newsfeed if you haven't already, because you never know who this is going to impact and who this is going to empower and who it's going to educate as well, because a lot of people still don't know about the value of hiring a virtual assistant, and I can personally attest to it as well. It is definitely a must if you want to grow and scale up your business, or even just free up your time. We've just had another question come in. We've just they're flying at the moment. It said, "Do you struggle with time management?"
The biggest struggle for time management is when the kids are at home. If I'm completely honest with you, when they're away, it's not an issue because I don't have that distraction. But when you've got a 4-year-old who, even though I've created a sign on the door to say, don't come in unless it's an emergency, and don't worry, they're not neglected. There are other adults in the house. She will just go in. So yeah, it can. There's a lot of crossover. Especially when you're working from home.
Yeah. How do you differentiate like where your time is actually going? Because a lot of business owners are thinking, I am so busy. I've got to do this and I've got to go do this and blah, 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 blah. And the list is just endless priorities. How do you, like, what's your strategy and what's your focus for time management? Because I know you mentioned you get up at 4 a.m. It takes a lot of discipline for one to get up at 4 a.m. but then to complete 10 tasks throughout the day. Have you got any strategies for our viewers to help them manage their time a bit better?
I'd say what I would do, and this is what I did years ago, I literally used my Gmail calendar and I put in the things that had to be done. So this is going to seem so boring because I don't like to keep talking about kids, but school run, tutoring, dentist appointments, those types of things go in. They have to go in. Then it's just looking at the business obligations, things that have to happen. Yeah. So whether it's admin, tax returns, those kind of things, they have to go in. Then once I've put in all my obligations, I can now see where I'm free. And those things don't move unless there is like an emergency. So when I'm doing a task, my phone is either on silent, no vibrate. And I've just learned as well that your phone cannot govern your day, govern your life, because it rings and we feel obliged to open it, to answer it. Sorry, it rings, we answer it. I've just got out the habit of that. If I'm doing something, I will not answer it. And if I really just need, to turn it off, I'll turn it off. Yeah. But I think it's just finding where those gaps are. And then in those gaps, you can plan fun, go and see your friends, go and do the things that you want to do, have a bath, if that's what you want to do. So putting your obligations, look at your calendar, put in your obligations, look at your spaces, and then you can plan everything else. You can have everything, you just can't have it at the same time. So you just got to prioritize and find out where you can do certain things.
Yeah, amazing. And last question, what helps to keep you motivated?
So what helps to keep me motivated the most, I think, is the impacts that I have on others. I like to see people grow. I like to see people succeed, and it's not a blowing of my own trumpet, so to speak, but I like to facilitate that journey.
Yeah.
So that's what keeps me motivated, really. I don't like to let people down. And I want to help as many people as I can before I leave this world.
Amazing. Siobhan, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing your awesome insights and your golden nuggets of wisdom as well. Really appreciate it. And thank you to you guys, the viewers, for watching, commenting and sharing, and all the love that you've been given on Facebook. Really, really appreciate it. Do join us next week at the same time, Thursday, 12 p.m. GMT, for another awesome interview session. I cannot wait to see you there. It's going to be really fun. Take care, guys. Have an amazing weekend.
Bye.